Hello and welcome to the week 6, module 6 of our project management professional training program. I'm still your anchor right here, and I want to congratulate you for coming this far. This is almost halfway to the end of our training program. Getting to module 6 is actually a milestone, a worthy feat, and I want to congratulate you. I hope you've been learning, hope you've been getting value, and not forgetting the quiz. Hope you've been taking your quiz, getting your feedback. Alright, so without further ado, let's jump into today's module. And in this module, we'll be talking about project schedule management. Okay, so if you're ready, let's go. Okay, so this is section 1. Welcome to the section 1. In this section 1, we'll be doing an overview of the project schedule management. Okay, the project schedule management is a crucial aspect of project management that involves planning, developing, maintaining, and controlling the project schedule. Okay, so it has to do with planning our schedule, developing the schedule, maintaining and controlling the schedule. The project schedule outlines the sequence of activities, their durations, dependencies, and resource requirements necessary to complete the project successfully and on time. So the project schedule has to do with outlining the sequence of activities. What are the activities that you have to be engaged in your project? What is the duration of each activity? What time is it going to take to complete each activity? And also has to do with the dependencies, outlining the dependencies. Dependencies simply means what does each activity depend on? What has to happen for you to be able to do any of the activity? For example, if you're carrying out a project and you require government permits to do a particular thing, all right, that permit is a dependency. All right, it's a dependency. You require government permits. That's a dependency. Okay, so what are the dependencies that is required for you to carry out each activity? So you have to outline them as well. All right, and what time it will take to get that done before you can start with that activity. Okay, so it also has to do with resource requirements, outlining the resource requirements. You know, when we talk about resources, we're talking about human resources, we're talking about material resources, we're talking about equipment. All right, so you have to outline them to complete the project successfully and on time. Now, this on time is very critical. All right, because we are not just talking about completing the project successfully here. We are talking about completing it on time. Because let's say, for example, you have a project that's supposed to span 6 months. All right, and you are completing it and handing over to the client at the 8th month. Yes, you've completed the project successfully, but was it on time? Okay, so when we're talking about project schedule management, we are talking about not only completing the project successfully, but also complete it on time at the stipulated time. All right, and that is very, 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 very important. Okay, so let's move on. So what are the key components of the project schedule management? First one is planning. Okay, we're talking about planning here. In this phase, the project manager and the project team work together to create a detailed project schedule. This includes defining project activities, establishing dependencies, I already talked about this, estimating activity durations, and allocating resources. So the planning phase is the beginning of the project schedule management. All right, and it has to do with defining the activities, establishing the dependencies, for each of those activities, estimating how long each activity is going to take, and also what resources you require to complete each activity. All right. The next is scheduling. All right. Scheduling is another key component in your project schedule management. With the project schedule planned, scheduling tools and techniques are used to create a project timeline. Okay, so you now have to use what we call scheduling tools to now create your project timelines. Gantt charts, network diagrams, and other tools help visualize the project flow. So we're going to be looking at this Gantt charts later, okay? But I believe you're familiar with network diagrams. We're also going to see that later. Okay, so these are the things you're going to use, all right, to help you visualize the flow of your project. And then monitoring and controlling. This phase involves tracking the actual progress of the project compared to the planned schedule. It includes measuring performance, identifying variances, and taking corrective actions to keep the project on track. Now, when it comes to managing a project, we have what we call the actual, all right, or the actual or the real-time work, all right, the real-time status or the real-time report. And then we also have what we call the ideal or the planned. Do you understand? What you have on paper versus what you have on ground. All right, so monitoring and controlling, of course, before you start executing, all right, monitoring and controlling comes in when you've already started executing. All right, you plan the project, you schedule, all right, your activities, and then you start implementing, you start executing. All right, while that is going on, you are monitoring. What are you executing? You are executing what you have already planned and scheduled. All right, so you're executing that now. So while you're doing that, you are monitoring to know whether what is going on in the project is in tandem, is in sync with what you have on paper in your planning phase. I don't know if you're getting that now. So you are actually measuring your performance, measuring the performance to know how the actual performance aligns with your planned performance, what you plan to do. Is it what you're actually seeing? All right, so it's not a case of what I saw versus what I got. You understand? You don't want to have that kind of story in your project. So of course, sometimes there could be variances, little variances here and there. So you want to identify those variances. How large are they? How far removed are they from the planned? All right, and then take corrective actions. You have to do what is necessary to, get the project back on track. Do you understand? So as not to make the discrepancies between the planned and the actual very, very much, because if they are large, you find out that your project veers off way out of what you actually plan to get at the end of the day. You'll be getting a different output or deliverable. Okay, so now let's look at the key processes in project schedule management. Plan schedule management. We have define activities, we have sequence activities, we have estimate activity duration, we have develop schedule, and lastly we have control schedule. So like we already know, a project is a process of processes. Okay, so these are the key processes that are involved in the project schedule management. So we're going to look at these processes one after the other. Okay, we're going to look at the purpose, we're going to look at the input, the tools, the techniques, and also the output for each of them. Okay, all right, so what are the benefits of project schedule management? How does it benefit you as a project manager to actually schedule your project? Okay, so effective project schedule management offers several benefits, including meeting project deadlines and milestones, enhancing resource allocation and utilization, identifying potential issues and risks early, providing a basis for communication and coordination, and also helping in decision making and managing stakeholder expectations. Okay, so these are the benefits you get from project schedule management, and that's why it's important you take it seriously as a project manager. It's going to help you to meet your deadlines, help you for allocating your resource properly and managing your stakeholders, making the right decisions, you know. So it's very, very handy for the project manager to get to do their project schedule management before starting the project. All right, so that's the end of this section. I'll see you in the next section.